Songs of Innocence and Experience by William Blake. Piping down the valleys wild, piping songs of pleasant glee, on a cloud I saw a child, and he, laughing, said to me, "Pipe a song about a lamb." So I piped with merry cheer, pipe for pipe that song again. So I piped, he wept to hear. Drop thy pine, thy happy pipe, sing thy songs of happy cheer. So I sung the same again, while he wept with joy to hear. Piper, sit thee down and write in a book that all may read. So he'd vanished from my sight, and I plucked a hollowed reed. And I made a rural pen, and I stained the water clear, and I wrote my happy songs, every child made joy to hear. And here they are. Number 5, The Shepherd. How sweet is a shepherd's sweet lot! From the morn to the evening he strays, he shall follow his sheep all day, and his tongue shall be filled with praise. For he hears a lamb's innocent call, and he hears the ew's tender reply. He is watching while they are in peace, for they know when the shepherd is nigh. Number 6, The Echoing Green. The sun does arise and make happy the skies. The merry bell rings to welcome the spring. The skylark and thrush and birds of the bush sing louder around to the bell's cheerful sound, while our sports shall be seen on the echoing green. Old John with white hair does laugh away care, sitting under the oak among the old folk. They laugh at our play, and soon they all say, such were the joys when we all, girls and boys, in our youth time were seen on the echoing green. Till the little ones weary, no more can be merry. The sun does descend, and our sports have an end. Round the lamps of their mothers, many birds, many sisters and brothers, like birds in their nest, are ready for rest, and sport no more seen on the darkening green. The Lamb. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Gave thee life, and bid thee feed by the stream and o'er the mead. Gave thee clothing of delight, softest clothing woolly bright. Gave thee such a tender voice, making all the vales rejoice. Little lamb, who made thee? Dost thou know who made thee? Little lamb, I'll tell thee. Little lamb, I'll tell thee. He is called by thy name, for he calls himself a lamb. He is meek and he is mild, he becomes a little child. I a child, and thou a lamb, we are called by his name. Little lamb, God bless thee. Little lamb, God bless thee. Oh goodness, of course, you get a couple pages in and of course it says, The Little Black Boy. My mother bore me in the southern wild, and I am black, but oh, my soul is white. But white as an angel and the English child, but I am black as a beaver, bereaved of light. My mother taught me underneath a tree, and sitting down before the heat of day, she took me on her lap and kissed me, and pointing to the east began to say, Look on the rising sun, there God does live, and gives his light and gives his heat away. And flowers and trees and beasts and men receive comfort in the morning joy in the noonday. And we are all put on earth a little space, that we may learn to bear the beams of love. And these black bodies and this sunburnt face is but a cloud, like a shady grove. For when our souls have learned the heat to bear, the cloud will vanish, and we shall hear his voice, saying, Come out from the grove, my love and care, and around my golden tent like lambs rejoice. Thus did my mother say and kiss me, and thus I say to a little English boy, when I am from black, and he from white cloud free, and round the tent of God like lambs we joy. I'll shade him from the heat till he can bear to lean in joy upon our Father's knee, and then I'll stand and stroke his silver hair, and be like him, and he will then love me. Wow. The Blossom. Mary, Mary Sparrow, under leaves so green, a happy blossom sees you swift as an arrow. Seek your cradle narrow, near my blossom. Pretty, pretty robin, under leaves so green, a happy blossom, hears you sobbing, sobbing, pretty, pretty robin, near my bosom. The Chimney Sweeper. My mother died when I was very young, and my father sold me while I yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 so your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. There's little Tom Darcy, who cried when his head, that curled like lamb's black, was shaved, so I said, Hush, Tom, never mind, for when your head's bare, you know that the soot cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, we had such a sight, that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Jonah, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he'd opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping and laughing, they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he'd be a good boy, he'd have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark, and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm, so if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. Oh, these are... Wow, Mr. Blake. The Little Lost Boy. Father, father, where are you going? Oh, do not walk so fast. Speak, father, speak to your little boy, or else I shall be lost. The night was dark, and no father was there, and the child was wet with dew. The mire was deep, and the child did weep, and away the vapour flew. The little boy found. The little boy lost in the lonely fen, led by the wandering light, began to cry, but God ever nigh appeared like his father in white, and kissed the child, and led by the hand to his mother, and to his mother brought. And in sorrow pale, the lonely dale, her little boy weeping sought. Well, I'm glad that picked up. Laughing Song. When the green woods laugh with the voices of joy, and the dimpling stream runs laughing by, when the air does laugh with our merry wit, and the green hills laugh with the noise of it, when the meadows laugh with lively green, and grasshopper laughs in the merry scene, when Mary and Susan and Emily, with their sweet round mouths singing ha ha ha, when the painted birds laugh in the shade, where our tables with cherries and nuts are spread. Come and live, be merry, and join with me to sing sweet chorus of ha ha hey. A Cradle Song. Sweet dreams from her shade, o'er my lovely infant's head, sweet dreams of pleasant streams, be happy silent moony beams. Sweet sleep with soft down, weave thy brows, an infant child, sweet sleep, angel mild, hover o'er my happy child. Sweet smiles in the night, hover over my delight, sweet sighs, mother's smiles, all the livelong night beguiles. Sweet moans, dove-like sighs, chase not slumber from thy eyes, sweet moans, sweeper smiles, all down the dove-like moans beguiles. Sleep, sleep, happy child, all creation slept and smiled, sleep, sleep, happy sleep, while o'er thee thy mother weep. Sweet babe, in thy face holy image I can trace, sweet babe, once like thee, thy maker lay and wept for me. Wept for me, thee for all, when he was an infant small, though his image ever see, heavenly face that smiles on me. Smiles on thee, on me, on all, who became an infant small. Infant smiles are his own smiles, heaven and earth no peace beguiles. The Divine Image. To Mary, pity, peace, and love, all pray in their distress, and to these virtues of delight return their thankfulness. For mercy, pity, peace, and love is God our Father dear, and mercy, pity, peace, and love is man his child and care. For mercy has a human heart, pity a human face, and love the human forms divine, and peace the human dress. Then every man of every clime that prays in his distress, prays to the human form divine, love, mercy, pity, peace. And all must love that human form in heathen, Turk, or Jew, where mercy, love, and pity dwell, their God is dwelling too. Holy Thursday. 'Twas on a holy Thursday, their innocent faces clean, the children walking two and two in red and blue and green. They grey-headed beetles walked before with wands as white as snow, till into high dome of Paul's, like the Thames, the waters flow. Oh, what a multitude they seem, these flowers of London town. Seated in companions, they sit with radiance all their own. The sum of multitudes was there, but multitudes of lambs, thousands of little boys and girls raising their innocent hands. Or like a mighty wind they raised to the heaven the voice of song, or like harmonious thunderings the seats of heavens among. Beneath them sit the aged men, wise guardians of the poor, then cherish pity lest you drive an angel from your door. Night. The sun descending in the west, the evening star does shine. The birds are silent in their nest, and I must seek for mine. The birds like a flower in heaven's high bower, with silent delight sits and smiles on the night. Farewell green fields and happy groves, where flocks have took delight, where lambs have nibbled silent moves the feet of angels bright, and seen they pour blessing and joy without ceasing on each bud and blossom and each sleeping bosom. They look in every thoughtless nest, where birds are covered warm. They visit caves of every beast to keep them all from harm. If they see any weeping that should have been sleeping, they pour sleep on their head and sit down by their bed. When wolves and tigers howl for prey, they pitying stand and weep, seeking to drive their thirst away and keep them from the sheep. And if they rush dreadful, the angels most heedful receive each mild spirit, new worlds to inherit. And there the lion's ruddy eyes shall glow with tears of gold, and pitying the tender cries, and walking round the fold, saying, wrath by his meekness, and by his health sickness, is driven away from our mortal day. And now beside the bleating lamb I can lie down and sleep, or think on him who bore thy name, Greece after with thee and weep. For washed in life rivers, thy bright mane forever shall shine like the gold, as I guard o'er the fold. Spring. Sound the flute, now it's mute. Birds delight day and night, nightingale in the dale, lark and sky, merrily, 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 to welcome in the year. Little boy, full of joy, little girl, sweet and small, cock does crow, so do you, merry voice, infinite noise, merrily, merrily, to welcome the year. Little lamb, here I am, come and lick my white neck. Let me pull your soft wool, let me kiss your soft face, merrily, merrily, we are welcome in the year. Nurse's Song. When the voices of children are heard on the green, and laughing is heard on the hill, my heart is at rest within my breast, and everything else is still. Then come home, my childrens, the sun is gone down, and the dews of night arise. Come, come, leaves of play, and let us away, till the morning appears in the sky. No, no, let us play, for it is yet day, and we cannot go to sleep. Besides, in the sky the little birds fly, and the hills are all covered with sheep. Well, well, go and play till the night fades away, and then go home to bed. The little ones leaped and shouted and laughed, and all the hills echoed. Infant Joy. I have no name, but I am 2 days old. What shall I call thee? I happily am, Joy is my name, sweet Joy, befall thee. Pretty Joy, sweet Joy, but 2 days old, sweet Joy I call thee. Thou dost smile, I sing the while, sweet Joy, befall thee. A Dream. Once a dream did weave a shade o'er my angel-guarded bed, that an emmet lost its way, where the grass methought I lay. Troubled, wildered, and forlorn, dark benighted, travel-worn, o'er many a tangled spray, a heart broke, I heard her say, O my children, do they cry, do they hear their father sigh? Now they look abroad to see, now return and weep for me. Pitying I drop a tear, but I saw a glower near, who replied, What wailing wight calls the watchman of the night? I am set to light the ground, while the beetle goes around. Follow now the beetle's hum. Little wanderer, hie thee home. On another's sorrow. Can I see another's woe, and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief, and not seek for kind relief? Can I not see a falling tear, and not feel my sorrow share? Can a father see his child weep, nor be filled with sorrow? Can a mother sit and hear an infant groan, an infant tear? No, no, never can it be, never, never can it be. And can he who smiles on all hear the wren with sorrows small, hear the small bird's grief and care, hear the woes that infants bear, and not sit beside the nest, pouring pity on their breast, and not sit the cradle near, weeping tears on infant tear, and not sit both night and day, wiping all our tears away? Oh no, never can it be, never, never can it be. He doth give his joy to all, he becomes an infant small, he becomes a man of woe, he doth feel sorrow too. Think not thou canst sigh a sigh, and thy Maker is not by. Think not thou canst weep a tear, and thy Maker is not near. Oh, he gives to us his joy, that our grief he may destroy. Till our grief is fled and gone, he doth sit beside us and moan. On experience. I'm not sure how pleasant this part will be. I don't know how happy it will be, but we'll see. Introduction. Hear the voice of the bard, who present, past, and future sees, whose ears have heard the holy word that walked among the ancient trees, calling the lapsed soul and weeping in the evening dew, that might control the starry pole, and fallen light renew. O earth, return, arise from the worn dewy glass. Night is worn, and the morn rises in the slumberous mass. Turn away no more, why wilt thou turn away? The starry floor, the watery shore, is giving thee till break of day. Earth's answers. Earth raised up her head from the darkness drear and dread. Dread and drear. Her light fled, stony dread, and her locks covered with grispy... I'm going to restart that. Earth raised up her head from the darkness dread and drear. Her light fled, stony dread, and her locks covered with grey despair. Prisoned on watery shore, starry jealousy does keep my den. Cold and hoar, weeping o'er, I hear the father of the ancient men. Selfish father of men, cruel, jealous, selfish fear, can delight, chained in night, the virgins of youth and morning. When springs hide its joy, when buds and blossoms grow, does the sower sow by night, or the ploughman in darkness plough? Break thy heavy chain, that does freeze my bones around, selfish, vain, eternal bane, that free love with bondage bound. The clod and the pebble. Love seeketh not itself to please, nor for itself hath any care, but for another gives its ease, and builds a heaven in hell's despair. So sung a little clod of clay, trodden with the cattle's feet, but a pebble of the brook, warbled out these meters meet. Love seeketh only self to please, to bind another to its delight, joys in another's loss of ease, and builds a hell in heaven's despite. Holy Thursday, again, but different. Is this a holy thing to see in a rich and fruitful land? Babes reduced to misery, fed with cold and usurious hand? Is that trembling cry a song? Can it be a song of joy? And so many children poor? It is a land of poverty. And their sun does never shine, and their fields are bleak and bare, and their ways are filled with thorns. It is eternal winter there. For wherever the sun does shine, and wherever the rain does fall, babe can never hungry there, nor poverty the mind at all. Good. The little girl lost. In futurity I prophetic see that the earth from sleep, grave the sentence deep, shall arise and seek for her maker meek, and the desert wild become a garden mild. In the southern clime, where the summer's prime never fades away, lovely like a lay. 7 summers old, lovely like a told, she had wandering long, hearing wild bird song. Sweet, sweet sleep come to me underneath this tree. You father, mother weak, where can Lila sleep? Lost in desert wild is your little child. How can Lila sleep if her mother weep? If her heart does ache, then let Lila look away. If my mother sleep, Lila shall not weep. Frowning, frowning night, o'er this desert bright, let thy moon arise while I close my eyes. Sleeping like a lay, while the beast of prey, come from chasms deep, viewed the maid asleep. The kingly lion stood, and the virgin viewed. Then he gambolled round o'er the hallowed grounds. Leopards, tigers play round her as she lay, while the lion old bowed his mane of gold. And her bosom lick, and upon her neck from the eyes of flame ruby tears that came. While the lioness loosed her slender dress, the naked they conveyed to caves the sleeping maid. Now, the little girl found. All the knights in woe like his parents go o'er valleys deep while the deserts weep. Tired and woe-begone, hoarse with making moan, arm in arm 7 days they trace the desert ways. 7 nights they sleep among the shadows deep, and dream they see their child starved in desert wild. Pale through pathless ways they fancied image strays, famished, famished, weeping weak, with a hollow, piteous shriek. Rising from unrest, the travelling woman pressed, with feet of weary woe she could no further go. In his arms he bore her, armed when sorrow sore, till before their way a crouching lion lay. Turning back in vain, soon his heavy mane bore them to the ground, then he stalked around, smelling to his prey, but their fears allay, when they licks their hands and silent by them stands. They look upon his eyes filled with deep surprise, and wondering behold a spirit armed in gold. On his head a crown, on his shoulders down, flowed his golden hair. Gone was all their care, Follow me, he said, weep not for thy maid, in my palace deep, like lies asleep. Then they followed where the vision led, and saw their sleeping child among tigers wild. To this day they dwell in a lonely dell, nor fear the wolver's howl, nor the lion's growl. The chimney sweeper. A little black thing among the snow, crying weep, weep in notes of woe. Where are thy father and mother, say? They are both gone up to church to pray. Because I was happy upon the heath, and smiled among the winters of snow, they clothed me in clothes of death, and taught me to sing the notes of woe. And because I am happy, and sing and dance, they think I have done me no injury, and are gone to praise God, and His priest and king, who make up a heaven of our misery. Nurse's Song. When the voices of children are heard on the green, and whisperings are in the dale, the days of my youth rise fresh in my mind, and my face turns green and pale. Then come home, my children, the sun is gone down, the dews of night arise. Your spring and your day are wasted in play, and your winter and night in disguise. The Sick Rose. O rose, thou art sick. The invisible worm that flies in the night in the howling storm has found out thy bed of crimson joy, and his dark secret love does thy life destroy. The Fly. Little fly, thy summer's play my thoughtless hand has brushed away. Am I not a fly like thee, or art thou a man like me? For I dance and shrink and sing, till some blind hand shall brush my wing. If thought is life, and strength is breath, and the want of thought is death, then am I a happy fly, if I live, or if I die. The Angel. I dreamt a dream. What can it mean? That I was a maiden queen, guarded by an angel mild. Witless woe was near beguiled. And I wept both day and night, and he wiped my tears away. And I wept both day and night, and hid from him my heart's delight. So he took his wings and fled. Then the morn brush rosy red. I dried my tears and armed my fears with 10,000 shields and spears. Soon my angel came again. I was armed, he came in vain. For the time of youth was fled, and grey hairs were upon my head. The Tiger. You know this one, I'm sure. Tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? What of distant deeps or skies burnt thy fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulder and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain, in what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down the spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who make the lamb make thee? Tiger, tiger, burning bright, in the forest of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? My pretty rose tree. A flower was offered to me, such a flower as may never bore, but I said I'd a pretty rose tree, and I passed o'er the sweet flower. And I went to my rose tree to tend her by day and night, but my rose turned away with jealousy, and her thorns sure were my only delight. Ah, sunflower, weary of time, who countest the steps of the sun, seeking after the sweet golden clime, when the traveller's journey is done. Where thy youth pined away with desire, and pale virgins shrouded in snow, arise from the graves and aspire, where my sunflower wishes to go. The Lily. The modest rose puts forth a thorn, the humble sheep a threatening horn, while the lily white shall in love delight, nor thorn nor threat stain her beauty bright. I like that. The Garden of Love. I went to the Garden of Love, and saw what I had never seen. A chapel was built in the midst, where I used to play on the green. And the gates of this chapel were shut, and thou shalt not reach over the door. So I turned to the Garden of Love that so many sweet flowers bore. And I saw it was filled with graves, and tombstones where flowers should be, and priests in black gowns were walking their rounds, and blinding with briars my joy and desires. The Little Vagabond. Dear mother, the church is cold, but the owl house is healthy and pleasant and warm. Besides, I can tell where I am used so well. Such usage in heaven will never do well. But if at the church they would give me some ale, and a pleasant fire our soils regale, we'd sing and we'd pray all the livelong day, nor ever once wish from the church to stray. Then the parson might preach and drink and sing, and we'd be happy as birds in the spring. And modest Dame Lurch, who was always at church, would not have brandy children, nor fasting nor birch. And God, like a father, rejoicing to see his children as pleasant and happy as he, would have no more quarrel with devil or the barrel, but kiss him and give him both drink and apparel. I think that sizes up my opinion pretty well. London. I wander through each charted street, near where the charted Thames does flow, and mark in every face I meet marks of weariness, marks of weakness, marks of woe. In every cry of every man, in every infant's cry of fear, in every voice, in every band, the mind-forged manacles I hear. How the chimney sweeps cry, every blackening church appalls, and the hapless soldier's sigh runs in blood down palace walls. But most through midnight streets I hear how the youthful harlot's cursed blasts the newborn infant's tear, and blights with plagues the marriage hearse. The human abstract. Pity would be no more if we did not make somebody poor, and mercy no more could be if all were happy as we. And mutual fear brings peace till the selfish love increase. Then cruelty knits a snare and spreads his baits with care. He sits down with holy fears and waters the ground with tears. Then humanity takes its root underneath his foot. Soon spreads the dismal shade of misery over his head, and the caterpillars and the fly feed upon the mystery. And it bears the fruits of deceit, ruddy and sweet to eat, and the raven his nest has made in its thickest shade. The gods of earth and sea sought through nature to find this tree, but their search was all in vain. There grows one in the human brain. Infant sorrow. My mother groaned, my father wept. Into the dangerous world I leapt, helpless, naked, piping loud, like a fiend hid in a cloud. Struggling in my father's hands, striving against my swaddling bands, bound and weary, I thought best to sulk upon my mother's breast. A poison tree. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath, and my wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. My wrath did grow. And I watered it in fears, night and morning with my tears, and I sunned it with smiles, and with soft deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shine, and he knew that it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe had stretched beneath the tree. A little boy lost. A little boy found, a little boy found, a little girl lost. I'll see how this goes. Naught loves another as itself, nor venerates another so, nor is it possible to thought a greater than itself to know. And father, how can I love you, or any of my brothers more? I love you like the little bird that picks up crumbs around the door. A priest sat by and heard the child. In trembling zeal he'd seized his hair and led him by his little coat, and all admired the priestly care. And standing on the altar high, lo, what a fiend is here, said he, one who sets reason up for judge of our most holy mystery. The weeping child could not be heard, and weeping parents wept in vain. They'd stripped him to his little shirt, and bound him in an iron chain, and burned him in a holy place where many had been burned before. The weeping parents wept in vain. Are such things done on Albion's shore? A little girl lost. Children of the future age, reading this indignant page, know that in a former time, love, sweet love, was thought a crime. In the age of gold, free from what is cold, youth and maiden bright, to the holy night, naked in the sunny beams delight. Once a youthful pair, filled with softest care, met in a garden bright, where holy light had just removed the curtains of the night. There in rising day, on the grass they play, parents were afar, strangers came not near, and the maiden soon forgot her fear. Tired with kisses sweet, they agreed to meet when the silence deep weighed o'er the heavens deep, and the weary tired wanderers weep. To her father's white came the maiden bright, but his loving look, like the holy book, all tender limbs with terror shook. Ona, pale and weak, to thy father speak. O the trembling fear, O the dismal care, that shakes the blossoms of my hoary hair. I think that had to do with Adam and Eve. To Tisra. Whate'er is born of mortal birth must be consumed with the earth, to rise from generation free. Then what have I to do with thee? The sexes sprung from shame and pride, blowed in the morns, in evening died, but mercy changed death into sleep. The sexes rose to work and weep. Thou mother of my mortal part, with cruelty didst mould my heart, and with false self-deceiving tears didst blind my nostrils, eyes, and ears. Didst close my tongue in senseless clay, and me to mortal life betray. The death of Jesus set me free. Then what have I to do with thee? It has raised a spiritual body. The schoolboy. I love to rise on summer morn, when the birds sing in every tree, the distant huntsman winds his horn, the skylark sings with me. Oh, what sweet company! But to go to school on a summer morn, oh, it drives all joy away. Under a cruel eye outworn, the little ones spend the day in sighing and dismay. Ah, then at times I drooping sit, and spend my anxious hour. Not in book can I take delight, nor sit in learning's bower, worn though with deary shower. How can the bird that is born for joy sit in a cage and sing? How can a child, when fears annoy, but droop his tender wing and forget his youthful spirit? O father and mother, if buds are nipped and blossoms blown away, and if tender plants are stripped of their joy the springing day, by sorrow and care's dismay, how shall the summer arise in joy, or the summer fruits appear? Or how shall we gather what griefs destroy, or bless the mellowing year, when the blasts of winter appear? The voice of the ancient bard. Youth of delight, come hither, and see thy opening morn, image of truth newborn. Doubt is fled in clouds of reason, dark disputes and artful teasing. Folly is an endless maze, tangled roots perplex her ways. How many have fallen there? They stumbled all night over bones of the dead, and feel they know not what but care, and wish to lead others when they should be led. And there we go. William Blake's Songs of Innocence and Experience. I hope that wasn't too heavy, but I thought they were lovely poems and I wanted to share them with you. So sleep well, keep calm, find a llama, carry on. I'll be home soon. I love you, Christine. Good night.